I don't know who's done it.
No. I said so, let's find out who's done it.
Is it not important to know who's done it?
It is important to know.
Because I know your quote when you said it on that day, and you said when the story came out. And again, you see, people are putting two and two things together. And one of the rules in jurisprudence is, General V.K. Singh, the principle of circumstantial evidence, which if applied well can be useful, if applied badly can be disastrous. And circumstantial evidence was being used at that point of time to say that the interest of General V.K. Singh is in pushing for all these things, and he's frustrated because all this production and equipment has not come through, and therefore he has a vested interest in releasing the letter.
Okay. As a chief, it was my bounden duty to tell our government what we have or what we don't have. I've been doing this periodically for the last 2 years. Why should I leak it? I've written a much more detailed letter than this to my Raksha Mantri. What would be my motive in it? So, yes, somebody else leaking it, there will be a motive.
But it was discussed in Parliament. People spoke about it.
Yeah, that is the problem.
A particular
but people didn't even know what was happening. And now recently when somebody said that they traced it out to some joint secretary level officer, I think all those people should have just got up and apologized.
But even that is not confirmed by the government officially.
Yeah.
That's a story in the Press Trust of India.
Press Trust of India gives out only those stories which are given to it.
Yes.
And we know who gives those stories to it. They don't manufacture it on their own.
Yes.
So somebody must have told them. Somebody authoritative enough.
But it was denial from the government. They said there's no such officer in the Cabinet Secretariat.
So that's how it is. Then let's find out who it is. But let me assure you, we have our systems, our values, and it will...
I have no doubt on that. My question is very specific. You are going to be handing the baton on the 31st of May. My question to you is, would you not like to hand the baton with the government having clarified that it was not you? I'm not even getting into the question of...
They should have clarified.
Do you think they still should?
They should have. And I'm quite sure, and my army is quite sure, let me tell you this 1.3 million army, that their chief will never leak a letter like that. That's a surety I have. And after that, if the others don't want to own up as to who has done it, with the sole aim, if you look at it, what was the aim behind it? The whole thing was weird to give an impression that it is V.K. Singh who's leaking it.
Yeah.
Somebody had some agenda?
Within the government or outside?
Has to be within the government. Who will be outside?
Somebody was leaking this from within the government.
Should have. Where will this letter leak out from? It is a top secret letter.
Where could it have come from? MOD?
It's anybody's guess. Arnab, I've stopped scratching my head on it. There are n number of things one can think of, and I don't think it is prudent for me to go into as to who all could be the suspects.
But is it, last point on this, you would like it to be at least made clear that you, General V.K. Singh, or anyone close to you, was not the source of the leak?
Yes. Absolutely.
Why haven't you told the defense minister that?
I think these are things which are already understood. You don't have to go like a child and tell him, sir, please clear me.
That's true. I get your point. Now, 30th December 2012, your complaint is rejected on the age controversy 2011 by the defense minister. 16th of January 2012 at about 3:45, the story breaks out that you have moved to the Supreme Court. Right? I don't know what happened in between, and the people of this country don't know what happened in between. So direct question to you is that what happened? Did nobody in the government try to convince you not to go to court? A. B. Did you take enough steps before going to court, to initiate a conversation with the political leaders who run the government? You may or may not want to name them in the course of this interview. Did you speak to senior ministers and take them into confidence? Did they take you into confidence? Was there an attempt at broaching some kind of a truce? Because you had only said that it's a fight for your honor and integrity. What happened in the intervening period? In as much detail as you can possibly tell us. I don't want you to breach all rules of confidentiality.
Let me say a few things of the initial stages.
Yes.
When the issue came up,
Yeah.
I've gone to my Honorable Raksha Mantri and said, these are the facts.
Yes.
All that I want is
Yes.
please acknowledge that this is what the age is. I'm not interested in anything else. If you want me to go today, I'll go today.
Yeah.
He said we will refer it to the Attorney General. It was referred to him. He gave an opinion based on what was asked from him. It came back. A petition was filed by me
To the Defence Minister?
to the Defence Minister, went back to the Attorney General. Obviously, we got an opinion which was just an enlarged version of what he had done earlier. Then the statutory complaint was filed. We got a third opinion from the learned Attorney General on the similar lines. Yes, I had dialogue with some of the political leadership.
You had.
I had. And
Not the Defence Minister.
no, not the Defence Minister,
Other senior ministers?
other senior ministers. And
Anyone in particular?
no, I'm not going to name
You're
any.
not going to name. But as you spoke to another senior minister. in the
I
cabinet.
spoke to senior ministers and I told them what the point of view was, and I told them exactly what I have been saying right through. And I was told we'll find a way to sort this issue out.
This was after, one second, this is after the 30th
This
of
has been going
December.
right through, even after the petition, after the statutory, after the rejection of the statutory, and before I went to the court.
You were in conversation with
I
the
was.
minister. And that minister told you that we will try and sort it out.
Yes, and I'm quite sure,
What
I'm
was
quite
the-
convinced, Arnab, that he would have.
This is a senior minister you're talking about, obviously, but not the Defence Minister.
No.
Not the Prime Minister. This is not the Prime Minister.
So he would have tried.
You don't want to name the
No,
person.
I'm not going to.
Mr. Chidambaram, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee.
I'm not going to name anybody.
Okay.
And I'm quite sure he must have tried his best. It didn't happen. So ultimately, I decided that whatever option is available to a normal citizen of this country must be exercised.
But you are the army chief. What
I am
was...
still a citizen of this country.
But you're the army
And if I am not getting justice, which is available to
chief. Yes.
everybody else, shouldn't I go to the court?
Sure, but you're the army chief.
How does it make a difference?
Army chief taking on the government doesn't make a difference.
It was not taking on the government.
What there was a moment when the straw, as they say, broke the camel's back. What was the point at which you snapped and said, I'm going to court? Did it weigh on your mind? Did others tell you at that point? Did the government tell you, don't go to court? Did you...
Nobody told me not to go to the court. Nobody told me not to go to the court. Everybody was quite happy. Statutory rejected. Matter ends. Full stop. I don't think that was correct. And there were various options open which should have been exercised at that time
Yes.
to give you back your honor and integrity. And I know what has happened in the Supreme Court. I'm not going to delve into it. Some point of time later on, I think I'll put it down as to what exactly information we had on how things have gone on. The only thing I can say is, if in a court a very senior Supreme Court judge says, blow with the wind, I actually rue the fact that I went to the court. If all of us are going to blow with the wind, then we will all become muggers, we will all become corrupt. Wind is going that way. Are we going to go that way? Are you going to go that way? So, and that is why, that is the end of it. When my lawyer asked me, I said, just withdraw. Enough. I don't want to go beyond that. And where the army is concerned, let me also tell you, which I haven't told anybody so far, The day I went to the court, I spoke to all my corps commanders, all my army commanders, and told them, please tell our men, this is my personal issue. It has got nothing to do with the army. They don't have to feel bad, they don't have to feel worked up, they don't have to feel any other.
You said you called your corps commanders on the morning of the 16th of January
16th
2012.
night.
16th night.
16th afternoon the thing was filed, 16th night I called them up and told them.
So you're saying that incidentally, when we look back at our own history of this year, that on the night of the 16th, when they were saying these mechanized troops were actually moving towards Delhi in what was seen to be a sinister operation, you were calling the corps commanders, telling them that this was your individual fight and not a fight between the army and the government.
Absolutely. Because everybody must know what is happening. Otherwise, the way things are put out on the television, the way it is blown up over a period of time, a lot of people can think otherwise.
And yet, for the last 4 to 5 months, General V.K. Singh, there are large sections who have painted you a villain, who have said who say that here's a man who's fighting for his individual pride and his individual ambitions and his individual career, and in the process of doing that,
I wish-
stomping over civil-military relations.